You are live. I am live. You guys can hear me. I know they can because I left my microphone on. So we'll just jump right into it. Is Saturday. Oh, yeah. That means we got a live show with guests, Mr. Chris Brinkley and Mr. Chris Viera. We got VB on the show. It's going to be very bad or very ballsy or very bitchin'. I'm going to go with that one. So excited. But hey, let's pull in the picture. My co-host Fernando is not here, so I called in two heavy hitters to fill it in. They're going to try. They got big shoes to fill, but we're going to have a lot of fun. I got a Best Buy guy, and I got a corporate guy. It's going to be crazy. So let's just bring them both on, and we'll cut to the chase. Welcome to the show, guys. How are you?
How's it going?
What's up?
Chris and Chris. It was like Ron and Ron. We used to have a talk show here in the morning. It was Ron Bennington and Ron Diaz. Doesn't matter, but it was the Ron and Ron show. It was really cool. But we have the Chris and Chris show with the
I love it.
CDC.
Maybe we need to make this a thing.
We're the CDC. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see, can I do that? So hang on. So there we go. Now we're the CDC. We can also, like I said, we can do this one. Tell me, Mr. Brinkley.
Yeah. What can I tell you?
So for those of you that don't know these guys, we'll start with this is Phantom Chris. So we used to call him Phantom Chris. I was trying to get the name to stick, and then I gave it up because he wanted to be Car Stereo Chris.
For audio Chris.
Whatever. Anyways, we'll talk to him. We'll get to know some more personal stuff about him. If you want his number, he's single. Are you still single? No, you're dating, right? You got a girlfriend now? Oh, you're married? When did you get married?
Oh, I've been married for a little bit.
What is a little bit? Okay. Listen, I just celebrated 30 years, so a little bit is like a year.
A little over a year.
Okay, there we go. Come on. All right. So anyways, Chris works for Stinger. So excited to have him on. Good friend. Is this your first time on? Or no, you've been on when you were a Phantom, right?
Yeah. I think we did a live stream for Oscar's Place here in Dallas.
Okay.
I think maybe once while we were there, but not an official show like this. So.
Okay. Well, that's fan. Well, welcome to the show.
Yep.
And of course, down low in the Brady Bunch, we have Mr. Chris Viera. Welcome, Chris. Welcome back.
Thank you. Always
You're
a pleasure.
a veteran at this point. So, seriously, dude, are you once behind the news? I behind on the news? I mean, I don't even know what we're talking about.
No, this should have been featured on the news. I'm just saying.
Oh, it should have been featured on the news. I mean, I could have called Amy, but I didn't. So, anyways, we're gonna shoot the proverbial stuff. We're gonna answer some questions. We're gonna have a gay old time. But this first segment is gonna be brought to us by the fine folks. Not that one, but this one. That was trippy. By the fine folks at Audio Control. That's right. AudioControl.com is the place you can go find the new Altitude line of amplifiers. One of the things that separates the Altitude line of amplifiers from the Epic series amplifiers, which are fantastic, is the internal high level to low level that is built in. It's one of the staples of Audio Control. Of course, one of the most popular being the A800.1 or the A850.1 or the 800 watt amplifier. Is it an 800 or an 850?
800.
There we go. 800.1. They kept it simple. I knew that. I was testing you. Anyways, 800.1 has the high level to low level. It makes it awesome if you want to do some factory integration and hook it up to one of the new factory boxes that we have for the Dodge Ram, the Chevy, and the Ford. Along with, we have the Jeep Gladiator. And of course, we have the ported and sealed 10s and 12s all set, ready to go. Just dying to have an Altitude amp attached to them. If you want to know more, head over to audiocontrol.com. Boom. Okay, so with that out of the way, how are you guys doing?
Fantastic here.
So are you ready for the winter of tariffs to come? Is that exciting?
I'm hoping it ends soon.
I was telling the guys before the show that some of the prices that are being announced are just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like it's not even going to make sense. But hey, it's what we do. Good morning, Brad. How you doing? Anybody else hate the finger mouse on laptop, DNA and REW at the same time? Fat finger chaos. Listen, I hate Windows with a passion, and the first thing I do when I get a Windows machine is turn off touchscreen because I don't want a touchscreen. How you guys feel about touchscreens with your Windows?
I have one on my laptop, but I don't use it too often.
What about you?
So I lived off an iPad for quite a long time as my main computer. I like touchscreen, but not on a laptop. It does not work. It does not work.
No, I mean, like I know like I have 2 laptops in my life and a desktop, and the thought of like editing a movie and touching the screen and like
yeah.
I would just like if there's dust on my
laptop,
screen, like
if the laptop screen would fold all the way over and be like, like a tablet, then
it's a tablet.
Laptop,
yeah. And a tablet's touch. A laptop is not. But Windows makes the cool thingies, which are neat. But hello, Eduardo. How are you? That brings me to my next point. Let's talk about DSP for a minute, because and not deep into DSP, laptops or phones.
For tuning a DSP?
Yes.
Laptop. 100%.
Yeah. So, 6 years ago when the nonsense started and like DSR1 came out, we had an iPad. And honestly, I feel that was the best experience that anyone has ever created for doing a DSP on a touch device. Everything else has just been kind of a nightmare. And then now it's like, please, for the love of God, don't make a phone-based app for your DSP.
Like stop.
Yeah. It's like if you want it to be taken seriously, it needs to plug into a laptop. Hands down. I just don't care. I don't want to. Now, the Heighten, or no, not the Heighten. Is it the Heighten? Horizon. The Horizon. It's like Kicker and Kenwood. Totally screws me up. Anyways, the new Horizon, you can plug your audio control DSP into it. Have you played with that, Chris?
Yeah, so I've got it in the Phantom truck, and the last time I tuned the truck, I actually did it that way. I sat in the passenger seat, Mike in the driver's seat, and tuned it with the radio, and it wasn't bad. I mean, I would have liked to have maybe had a computer, but but I had my RTA up on the computer screen, so it worked out well. So
okay.
So the app functions well on the Horizon for sure. I've never used it on a iPad or something before, but it did work well on the Horizon.
So for me, when I'm tuning a car, I do all the laptop stuff. We've all seen it. The desk is sitting over there, and we got the RTA, we got all this. But then when I'm done with the outside of the car, I always have to bring the laptop into the car. And I think at that point, that scenario would kind of streamline it because I wouldn't have to bring my laptop in and sit there and do this, with between the steering wheel and that. And like, I think that might make sense. Cause when I'm tuning a Kenwood or something like that, it's the same thing. You're just touching the screen and it's going through the motions. So yeah. I think there is a good idea there.
I can't tell you how many times I've been like doing a demo and like something's weird on the song, and I want to just make like a minor adjustment and like mid demo, pull it up, make a quick change, close it out, go back into the demo and saves it. And for that kind of stuff, it's really nice for like quick little minor changes.
Yeah. Because I had the Alpine and it had a phone app, and I remember driving to work one morning at a red light, and there was an annoyance. And I'm just trying to I'm like, God, just turned it off, drove in silence. I was so like, so pissed. And I was like, God. Yeah, I think we've all been there. And it's just like the annoyance, or just turn the volume all the way down and drive in quiet.
Yeah.
Or pull over because we were in Texas and it's 600 miles till the next stopping point.
Or turn
Mhm.
the subs up so you don't hear it anymore.
No, can't do it. No. Have we met? Little things like that would drive me nuts. You know that.
Yeah, I know.
But, yeah. So obviously we're talking about the audio control DSP that works with the radio. Chris, Viera, what? Okay, so we all know Best Buy, but we know you moonlight.
Mhm.
What are you playing with for DSP right now?
I'm using the Arc Audio Blackbird.
What's up?
Pretty much the Arc Audio software.
I hate laptop touchpads. Got a Bluetooth mouse. There you
Yep,
go.
me too.
Brad. Yeah. So
Not to change subject real quick, but I have to say this.
go ahead.
Something I learned at MasterTech that I
Yes.
didn't know. Horizon, you can plug a Bluetooth mouse into it. And I'm curious, I haven't done it yet, how the mouse, you can control the radio with the mouse. It has a cursor.
Yeah.
And then just thinking about using the software with a mouse and cursor. I got to try that now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that's interesting because we're going to have Matthew in to do a show on that because we have a Horizon. We have obviously a couple audio controlled DSPs just laying around.
Maybe one or two.
Yeah. So we're going to do a show on that. It'd be interesting because I, of course, have several little wireless mice, scurrying about. So that's okay. All right. So Viera, you were talking about you have Arc in your car and you finally flipped your logo.
Oh, did? Yes, I did.
He was doing this when this slides out and they could both match. But yeah, no, lazy. Just in case, Brinkley, Brad works for Arc Audio. He's one of the engineer guys,
Yeah.
Yeah. If you haven't met, he's the taller one in the Arc shirt.
I think I've met. Yeah.
He's kind of light on the top, but facial hair. I mean, he looks like the picture there. Anyways, this car is well tuned. Yeah. So, anyways, you've had a couple different DSPs, Viera, in your car over the years. You started with the Kicker Q class, and then you graduated. Brinkley, did you ever get a chance to play with the Phoenix Gold, or was that before your time?
That was definitely before my time. Yeah, I came in right as we acquired audio control. So yeah, so that was a little bit before my time. I've heard a lot of good things about it. People love it, but I've never used it.
That would be Jeff. Jeff is the only one.
Had a couple dealers.
So before your tenure at Stinger, you were a rep, right? Or what did you do? Yeah,
I was a rep here in Texas. So I covered Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Arkansas. So for multiple different brands.
So did you play with any DSPs before you got your hands on the audio control?
Oh yeah, I mean I've played with quite a few. Some fairly inexpensive ones, some really nice ones, kind of all over the spectrum. And I was kind of the technical person for our rep firm. So I was the one doing DSP training and things like that. And I like to always do the trainings kind of agnostic to brand because you never know what you're going to use. You don't have to use an audio control DSP. You can use something else. So I wanted to get those skills out there more as, general, here's how you do it with anyone's stuff.
What was the brand you guys were carrying?
At the time, we were kind of light on processors. We actually carried a brand called Sound Magus.
Sound Magus?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why. That was it. Yeah, that was in my car through the guys over at Bema. So they bring that into the U.S.
That's because Bema's here in Tampa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool guy.
Yeah, and had that one for quite a while. It's pretty cool DSP.
All right, hang on. Let me do this real quick because time flies when you're proverbial having fun. We'll do this one for Viera. This next segment is brought to you by arcaudio.com. If you want an 8-channel amplifier with 12 channels of power, boom, you have the Blackbird. If you want a companion amplifier, 2-channel, do almost 900 watts, you got a Nighthawk. If you want 12 channels with 16 channels, right now you're buying a DSP. But I got porn here I could show you. No, I don't. Anyways, if you'd like to know,
Whoa.
want to see? Hold on. Hey.
Slow down there, killer.
Yeah. No. Amp porn. Slow it down. Don't be weird. If you look for best-in-class performance, head over to arcaudio.com, and you can find some of the most high-end products. And just tangent here. One of the funny things about the Blackbird, which you have now, Chris, you're welcome. Twisted your arm, made you buy one. They're tiny. They're these little tiny ugly things that you just go, that's 1,000 watts. You've seen a Blackbird, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you ever get anybody that looks at it and goes, what? That little thing? It's
every single
crazy.
one I've installed.
Yeah. It's amazing how much power we can get out of these little tiny amplifiers now, that just sound amazing.
I have a Blackbird and a Nighthawk under a seat. So that goes to tell you.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I feel oh jeez. Mary Lou's being silly. I feel artificial now. I mean, listen, June is April, May, June? Should be June. We could talk more in June. Maybe April. Maybe May. I don't know. Brad's going to be quiet now. I leave DSP tuning to the professionals. There you go. Long live Class AB surfboard amplifiers. And there again, they don't have to be surfboard amplifiers. I mean, let's talk about AB for a minute. Okay, so here you go. Here's a very expensive AB class amplifier, right? So we'll start with you, Brinkley. How do you feel about, do you need to have AB or D? Can you even tell the difference? Does this matter in your world?
I think in a very well-tuned car, I have heard a slight difference, but I would say some Class D technology is really good. So it just depends on the equipment you're using. But is it going to be a game changer that everyone that hears it is going to notice? I mean, everybody's different. It's hard to say. So, but I think they're great sounding amplifiers for sure.
Yeah, I mean, okay, Viera, you have a high performance Class D amplifier in your car, and you've had AB class amplifiers in your car. Are you lacking in any way? Do you feel substandard? Do you feel insecure about showing your car off?
I don't think so. I mean, everybody that's heard my car is like, this is amazing. But then again, they probably haven't heard a good AB, amplifier to compare to. So, who's to say?
So you're not afraid to show off your D?
Oh no, not at all.
Why you got to go there, Brinkley? Why you got to go there? Don't be.
I don't. You're talking about amplifiers. Like, what are you talking about?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Don't be weird.
Okay. Here we go. It's like fixing air conditioning in cars. I just replaced the compressor and thought I did everything right. Didn't. Now I have to pay twice. Never again. So that's like tuning. Yeah. Okay, here we go. I would guess the format of media would make the difference than the class of amplifier. Now that's a good point. So
yeah,
thank you, good Fang, good amplifier and security. Yeah.
Hi, Mary Lou.
So let's talk about that for a minute. Streaming services. Now, you're both Android guys, right? Or no? Are you an Android guy?
I have an Android now.
Okay. You lived on an iPad, but then somehow you felt I should get an Android phone.
Yeah.
You're just one of those people that.
Part of me sort of regrets it, but we don't have to go into that conversation right now.
Yeah, because you hate it, and I know what you told me. Anyways, Viera can't figure out how to get his out of mono or put it into mono, so he doesn't have to listen to right and left podcasts. And we still make fun of him. Anyways, long story, I'll tell you later. So, what are you guys using for streaming services? And do you feel that they're good enough or they're superior to what you've had in the past?
I use Spotify. I have the highest tier I could get on Spotify.
Okay.
And to be honest, short of, trying to play something DSD or something, which I don't even do, I think it's perfectly fine.
See what you started. See what you started.
I like your wife. I've met her. She's really
She's pretty
nice.
awesome. She's pretty awesome.
I would have married her too. Good call. Anyways, can't believe you kept it a secret. What a jerk. Anyways, hi. So what about you, Brinkley?
So even though I'm on Android, I use Apple lossless. So I have tried all of them for the most part, and I honestly think Apple lossless sounds best, even on Android.
I mean, no, but I mean, I think the one thing we have agreed upon is that you want the highest res version of what it is you can get.
Correct.
Now, we're all old enough to have lived through the CD era. I don't know if you're old enough to have lived through the cassettes.
Towards the beginning.
I mean, listen, Barney on cassette really didn't count. I mean,
hey, I installed a couple of cassette decks back in the day.
Yeah. Okay.
I had an Optimus cassette deck from Radio Shack in my first Camaro. So yeah.
Okay. Everything about that statement, I would just keep to yourself. Just keep it to yourself. I mean, good. Anyways, all right. So let's think about this. So hindsight is always the best, right? We kind of look back fondly at that awesome stereo we had when we were in high school or after high school or whatever it was. And we had that CD player. This was before MP3s, of course, destroyed the CD. And basically, I kind of feel like CD was this, and then we totally put it into the mud. And then with Napster and burning CDs and, pre-recorded crap, which set up perfectly for streaming services, right? Because we had the high point, and then we took the high point and totally destroyed it, and then we switched to streaming and or an iPod, with 5,000 songs on a nano of questionable quality, but convenience was key, right? Having all our songs in our pocket, as Steve Jobs said, 500 songs in our pocket, and a black sweater. With the turtleneck. So do you feel you have a superior platform right now, or do you long for the days of CDs? Either one.
I don't miss CDs. I don't.
No, I don't miss them. I actually found recently my old CD case that has all my CDs in it.
Really?
And I'm just sitting here looking at it like, man, like I don't have anything I don't have anything that plays CDs anymore. So like what do I do with this? But
Mine's are right in there.
Yeah. And but yeah, I do not miss the days of carrying that book around because that thing was heavy and it had a lot of stuff in it. So
and then trying to switch CDs while you're driving, oh my god.
Yeah, exactly.
So you didn't have a changer?
No.
I never had a changer.
Really?
Nope.
Bro, I had two Kenwoods, man. One in the armrest, one under the seat. Baller.
I had the Pioneer with the swimming dolphins in it. Oh, that was baller.
Dude, Pioneer had a 50-disc CD changer.
My first awesome radio, Alpine Glide Touch.
Oh, with the stupid little bar across the bottom?
And it never broke on me. It was a great radio.
I had the DIN and a half 3-disc in-dash player.
Mm-hmm.
So it had the cartridge that you could put 3 CDs in, and then it would do this. Yeah. I was into changers, man. I had 24 discs on hand all the time. It was always the same 24 discs, but it was what it was.
Oh, I forgot about the music keg. Chris said that in the chat.
Yeah,
everyone forgot about the music keg.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, music keg too. We want to talk about totally the wrong time for everything. It's okay, man. The problem with the music keg is that it came out like right before the iPod and all of the MP3 players, and they just destroyed it. I mean, it was a great idea. I remember having one on the wall, and I think that was the only one we ever had. I don't know whatever happened to it. I don't think it ever got sold. It just kind of disappeared one day. The inventory elves came and made it go bye-bye. So back to that. So what MP3 player did you have growing up? Did you just go straight into iPad or iPod, or did you have, this is pre-phone. This is back when you were, hey, what's up? How's it going? Okay. T9.
Yeah, I think I had the original iPod.
The 4-button click wheel or just an iPod?
I think it was my first one was 2nd gen iPod, where it had it didn't have the raised buttons on the outside. It was just a smooth wheel. So I think that was 2nd gen iPod. That was my first MP3 device.
Okay. What about you, Vera?
I can't remember what first MP3 I had.
Really? You had that many?
I don't think I ever had an MP3 player.
Really?
Yeah.
So you just like straight CD
to stream. Yeah.
Really? Okay. I mean,
I had MP3s on my computer, but I listened to music at home. But in the car was always CD all the way through.
Just burn CDs?
Yep.
Yeah, I was burning CDs for quite a while too until I got the iPod. So.
Okay. I mean, I remember buying my first iPod I think I bought it at Circuit City. Because you could do that. Then of course I bought all the iPods. Like I had the Touch, I had the Mini, I had the Nano, I had all of them. And then new ones would come out, and I'd be like, I think the first one I bought was like $650.
They were not cheap.
Pricey though. They were pricey.
Yeah.
I worked at Best Buy back then actually, and got a pretty good discount on it.
I think at one point I might have had a Zune, but I don't think I ever used it.
And of course, Brad, being Brad, says, I just skipped right over MP3s completely. I just had an orchestra follow me around. We were auditioning them. LimeWire. Okay, who didn't want to pay for music? Who was the LimeWire guy? Of course you were, Vera. Of course you were.
I guess, what is it? What do they call it? Time's passed. It doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, I did it.
No, you can be guilty. It's okay. I mean, if you use LimeWire, use LimeWire. I mean, hell, I don't even know if I had a computer back then.
Napster, all those.
So, I mean, I was always late to the game with that stuff. I was still buying CDs, and I just, the first computer I bought was a Dell because of the dude. I brought a Dell, dude. So I bought a Dell because that seemed, and that was I think I had it for like a year, and immediately I was walking through CompUSA. Who remembers CompUSA?
Mm-hmm.
And I saw Apple, and I didn't know what it was. I had no idea. It was just these really pretty. That was okay, Haley. Slow it down. It was just this really pretty white bubble computer in the back, and I was like, "What are these?" And then I was hooked. So
here's a little bit of nostalgia. Winamp. Remember Winamp?
Winamp. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Wasn't there a Winamp Pro? I feel like there was a Winamp Pro. Was there a Winamp Pro?
I think so. I remember you used to theme it and like do all kinds of different skins on it and customize it, make it yours.
Yep. Damn, nostalgia.
So.
Well, you guys are old. Duh.
Yep.
Got some old car stereo guys. I mean, I'm sure there's tons of them in the comments. Here we go. I'm talking like 2005-ish. So I always find it funny when I think back about like when stuff happened and like starting, because I started at AVE, which was my first guy, in July of 1990. So trying to remember what music was pre-night, like high school music versus like work music. Like it was very strange. Yeah, you're trying to figure out how long ago that was. I could see the Brinkleys in there going, wait a minute, when was I born? Like
I was 5. So, yeah.
In 1990, I was 8. So
yeah, I was working. Yeah, I had my 7909 Alpine pullout. Yeah, baby. That was the first thing I went into debt when I bought. That was the first debt I ever went into. I financed a freaking pull-out CD player. It was $1,000. I bought it in like '88. Yeah, $1,000 for a pull-out CD player. 6 RC outputs. I don't even think it had 6. I don't think it had 4. Like 4 RC outputs, no power. Bro, one of the best CD players ever owned. Lasted forever. Went through 3 different people. Like I sold it and got it back, and then I put it in Sue's first car. You know, because it was, and the only thing that ever went wrong is if you left the CD in, the sticky that would hold the CD got really super sticky, and so it would stay, and then you have to flop it out, and you have to stick like something in there to get it to come off. Yeah, I know.
You didn't have one of those push buttons that you hit the tray and the tray slides out?
No, it wasn't that gay. That was a Denon. Denon had those. Yeah, those were cool, dude. Like, I mean, we all had dream pieces we wanted back then. And that was one of them. But, oh, yeah, rest in peace, the old Alpine copper chassis. Yeah, that was a gimmick. 7909s. Yeah, they were fantastic. Morel or Hertz? It's Hertz, not Nertz. But I get it. So we'll go Morel. All right, so let's go back in the Wayback Machine because it seems to be a really good topic. Brinkley, what was the first set of subwoofers you had?
Subwoofer one. This was way before I bought the sub, but I bought it to put it in my buddy's car because I couldn't drive yet.
Okay.
And we didn't know anything about car audio. It was in a Pontiac Sunfire.
Okay, now when you say Pontiac Sunfire, was it the Sunfire with the little tiny square radio about this big that you couldn't replace? Or was it?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't remember about the radio, but it was a DHD paper cone 15 in just like some box.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what to hook it up to, so we bridged it off the rear channels of the factory radio.
Okay. I mean, that's perfectly legit. It's perfectly legit.
That's straight up. That I was 15 because I couldn't drive yet. And I was just like, hey, you got to get bass. So, and learned really quickly that doesn't work very well.
Yeah.
MTX Super Blue 10s, 2 Pioneer 10s with gold emblems. Oh, wow. Those are nice. Cern Vega LE 12s that it took out of a set of home speakers.
Yeah.
All right, Viera. What was your first?
So my first actual car audio subwoofers were 2 Pioneer Premier, the VCCS, the ones that had the bronze cap on the center.
Okay, so you
on a Rocker Fosgate 800.
So yeah, so you guys had the same stuff.
Yep, except I had the 212s in an RX-7.
Bro, this guy had money. Terminator 12 or Terminator 15s, some Powell Pros. Whoa, somebody was banking. He was one of those early credit card adopters. Okay, so that's cool. All right, so I had some JSE8s, Jet Sound Electronics. Never even heard of those. I know, right? It's
nope.
I
will say to make up for my stupidness, my next one was at least some Kicker L5s. It was a Kicker L510.
Oh, wow.
The old all black cone.
I'll make you feel better. My first radio was a Sony Walkman.
Nice.
Okay, that just sat on the floor and went to a set of tweeters and those JSE8s in the back. Okay, that was it. Okay, and the tweeters were getting powered off the Walkman. So trust me. Keep in mind, it was like 86, 85, probably 86. So, you were in a twinkle. You were at that point.
One.
All right. So let's call back the since we know what the subs were. First amplifier, Brinkley.
Oh, what was my first amp? I don't remember what amp I had on those Kicker subs. I imagine it had to have been a Kicker amp too. My brother actually was in the car audio industry before, he's like 14 years older than me, and he set me up with the whole system, and he was a big Kicker dealer. So That's what I got. It was that Kicker L5, and I don't remember what amp it was because he kind of helped me out with it. So, but
Okay.
sorry, I wish I could remember now. I hadn't thought about that.
So since you're getting old and you can't remember all that well,
Thanks.
I know it wasn't a Focal amp, but this next segment has been brought to you by the fine folks at Focal.com, Focal-America.com to be more specific. If you're interested in some of the best speakers on the planet, K2s, Utopia M's, Slate Fibers, to name a few, head over to Focal-America.com and check them out. They're made in France. The tariffs aren't there. Anyways, so Brinkley, before we get to you, Viera, what is the first amplifier you remember owning?
So when I started to build my first real, like, actual thought out system and not just something stupid to make noise, I had a first gen JL 300/4 and a JL 500/1. So those are my first amps that I actually built out the system, and I thought about it, and I actually knew a little bit more at that point. I'd been selling car audio at that point, so I knew that you just don't buy, random things that don't always are meant to work together. So, and those are great amps. So, like I said, first gen though.
Okay, but still, bro, you had JL money.
Well, I only had JL money because I worked at a shop that sold JL.
Damn, bro. All right, Viera, what was your first amp?
A Punch 800 A2.
So you had the cheaper A2s, okay?
Because the ones with the thick, it was the more modern ones, the ones with the big thick aluminum fins.
Okay, did it have wings? No wings. Wings or no wings?
It had the wing end caps, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, the 800 A2.
Was it the rounded one? Like they were
No,
rounded?
it was like the kind of like triangular end cap one.
Oh, that went down like this. It was kind of like shaped like that. Okay.
Yeah.
As we all know, I was not a Rockford guy. Didn't know anything about Punch 45 was in 150s, and that was about it for me. They were the enemy for a very long time. Now, not so much. Love these guys.
Well, I went to a shop and they told I told them, look, man, I want something that's gonna get down, and they're like, okay, Rockford Phosphate amp, and I'm like, all right. It was like $900 some.
Yeah. But, bro, y'all had like rich parents or something, man. Like, damn.
Nah, man. I worked at Publix when I bought that thing, man. I saved for a few paychecks for that one.
Bro, I guess I should have stood on the corner more or something. I had Sherwood amplifiers.
I remember Sherwood.
Yeah, actually, somebody gave me one. I have one on the wall over here. The graveyard that we have. Mm-hmm. I have not my first Sherwood, but the first Sherwood I ever had as an amplifier. So I had to trade in both of my Sherwoods and give them $150 to get my first Orion 280GX, which I have one of those too at home. And back then, that amplifier needed a bridging module in order to work. Like you couldn't internally bridge it. Like it was really weird how you needed to externally connect. Anyways, it was so stupid. Probably didn't last that long. I think I probably traded that in at some point because it just would overheat. Learned about aluminum foil at that point in time. The fuses are for chumps, aluminum foil.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. Yep.
I learned about running stereo 1 ohm, and it was not good.
Yeah, that'll cause a problem.
Yeah.
Still will. Just got to put caps on it, man. Ooh,
why do my fuses keep blowing? Just put bigger fuses.
Yeah. Had a Punch 45 150 was the sweet combo and a tiny single cab Toyota. Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah. Okay. So that brings us. Okay. No problem. All right. So hold on. One more here. My first amp was a Boss. After 2 weeks, got rid of it. Got a Ryan 225. Fair move. So there you go. There's your 800 A2, baby. Flexing. So, all right. This is probably going to be something that's easier. Oh, there you are. So let's go Zapco. So, do you know what? Does anybody? You guys know why it's named Zapco, right? What the Z stands for? Robert Zeff.
Robert Zeff. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, oh, you know where he still works?
Arc Audio.
Boom! There we go. Okay, sorry, had to throw it out there just in case he was wondering. That old Zapco fan. Anyways, it's like, okay. After that, Punch 402. Wow, dude, you guys were like rocking the money, bro. Realistic. Ooh, who remembers the Realistic? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so Brinkley, we'll start with you again. First car that you put a system in.
That was minus the Sunfire, because
Yeah.
that wasn't really my car. My first car was a what year was it? I think a 92 or 93 Ford Taurus.
With the bubble radio or before the bubble radio?
Before the bubble radio.
Okay. Oh, wow.
So like the first generation, it wasn't an SHO, but it was the first
No, of
generation of the SHO body style. So I couldn't afford SHO at 15.
So the question was, did your grandmother give you the car, or did you actually?
No, actually. I mean, I guess you could say that my dad gave it to me because I got my allowance and saved up my money for this car or whatever. But I'd saved up $1,400 before I was 16, and I was like, this is all I got. And I somehow got the car, and I don't know, it probably cost more than $1,400, but I don't remember all the way back then now at this point.
Probably not. Not.
But I drove the hell out of that thing, and I was one of the loudest cars in high school, which is fun. But not a lot of people were doing car audio then at my high school anyway.
All right, we're gonna circle back around to that. But Viera, what was your first car system car?
89 Ford Probe GT.
Oh my God. Dude, have you only owned gay cars? I mean,
yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. Ford Probe, Beretta.
Oh my God. You've owned all the gay cars.
All the gay cars.
It's funny.
The RX-7s were not gay. I'm sorry.
Do you remember well, okay, at one point you dropped a testicle. But I was just getting ready to say, do you guys remember the Beretta? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow, that was the first integration dash kit that came out, by the way, because it had the air conditioning controls were part of the radio. So the dash kit to put a single DIN in it had the silk screened air conditioning controls. And we had 3 of them, and we probably still have 2 of them in the stock room now, which is freaking scary, but that's a whole nother. So
that Beretta was great, man. I love my Beretta. I miss that car.
The Beretta was a cool car. They fell apart and did not age gracefully. The whole dash peeled out of them, but I mean, had a really cool back window.
That manual transmission V6 I had in mind, woo.
Ripping up the tires, bro. L1. Yeah. Okay, so was this in high school or before high school? Or after high school?
This was after high school.
Okay, so you didn't have a stereo in a car in high school?
No.
Okay, so we're going to go back to Brinkley. You disqualified. Sorry. It happens. So Brinkley, you had a car with a car stereo in high school. So did you get there early in the morning, park in the parking lot, back in your spot with your boys, and just hammer it out in the parking lot?
Probably at least once or twice. I won't deny that, but I wouldn't say all the time now.
Every morning? You didn't do it every morning?
No, not every morning.
Bro, we had the crew. One of them had a Beretta. And we backed in to our spots, and we just hammered every morning. It was great. Parked as far away as we come from the school, which consequently was the closest to the houses, which they probably hated us because we had to get to school real early. But, we banged out every morning.
You see, in high school, I was more into racing than car audio. So I had.
With that Ford Probe.
The Ford Probe was the GT 2.2 liter turbo, and then the Beretta will have the V6 with the manual transmission and nitrous. So I was into racing before car audio.
Of course, man. Of course. Yes. Yes. And now you have a Mazda.
You gotta realize though, we're in the time period though where like racing economical cars that kids could afford though. So
because he was Yeah, I know, and don't get me wrong. That was the Fast and Furious time where got to get your
Yeah.
car on the road so I can make some money on you. So, did you have neon in it? Tell me you had neon in it.
No, no neon. I hated neon. I've always hated lighting.
Dude, you're
I've
breaking
always
my
hated
heart.
lighting. Always hated lighting. Even in the Mazda, I have all my system and everything. I have no lighting whatsoever. LED
All right,
lights is the most that I put in the headliner. LED lights. That's it.
okay. So did you have any street glow in any of your cars, Brinkley?
I think the only thing I ever had that was like that is that little. I think was it Viera. I think with the little blue thing that sat on the dash that swept back and forth to make it look like you had an alarm so somebody wouldn't break into your car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had one of those, but that was really it.
Really?
The most.
No,
The
no.
most.
Yeah. So
Wow.
when I got into like the race scene
Yeah.
and myself when I did that, I'm very much a function over form type guy. So was never a thing for me to have fancy lights or make the car look pretty. It had to perform.
Okay.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, I don't know. I guess I was into stripper poles and stuff like that when I was a kid because
Hey man,
I wanted my stuff to just be like I was putting real neon in my car. I mean, it was pretty intense. Wow.
I
And then
did
we
I did
still
lose out though because I didn't do stickers either, and I know that they gave you a lot of horsepower, so I'll just have to live with making that mistake.
I totally understand. It was like stickers and Black Magic wheel shine. That was like 10 horsepower right there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put the Black Magic on the actual surface of the tire, you could get one good burnout,
Yep.
especially on your front wheel drive car. It was fantastic, and you could just look like an idiot as your car was just going, "What are you doing?" All right, so all right, so good on you, still gay. Brinkley, what was the first radio that you were not afraid to admit that you owned? Was it the Glide Touch, or did you have something better than that?
I don't remember which one I got first. The Glide Touch was, I think, the first one, but I also had I had the Pioneer before. I had a Pioneer, the silver one that had the piece that folded down.
Yeah.
You had the screen behind, and then you had the piece that stuck out. I had the
Okay.
Pioneer before the Alpine, but the Alpine was kind of my favorite at the time. So the Pioneers were great, but they had issues, as you are probably very aware of, with the mechanical mechanism of the moving.
No idea what you're talking about. No.
So,
Mask
but,
style radios were perfect. Never had issues.
But I did have Dolphins though, so that was good at least.
So you didn't have a Clarion with the pig race? Bummer.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that was Clarion Answers to the Dolphins was the pig race. All right, Viera, what was the first radio that you're not ashamed to admit you had?
The first radio that I purchased that I owned was a Pioneer 9600, DEH 9600. It was the one with the dolphins and the race cars and all the animations, and it's the one that had the full screen. Like was the the buttons were on the both ends, but most of the screen was the animation. And I had the Pioneer standalone, like the equalizer that had the brain hidden somewhere else, and then the screen was just the EQ. I had one of those on there. That's the most lighting I had.
So you could make like a double din back in the day.
Yeah.
Which you couldn't afford.
Even though I just had a dash mounted. So.
Well, at least you didn't have a. Do you remember? Do either of you guys remember the gooseneck mounted EQs?
No.
Mm-mm.
So, you know how like you have the laptop stands that you can put like you can bolt into the seat bolt on the car, and it has like a little table on it. So imagine that, but on the end instead of a little table, an EQ.
Oh wow.
Okay, and then like some of them had sliders that would go up, like this at an angle. So you'd have like your 7-band, and they were just sliders that and then some of them had a display, and some of them were like a T, and you could touch things. But it was the answer because you got to remember back then everything was a single din. So if you wanted an EQ, they were trying to come up with creative ways to give you EQs. So they had gooseneck mounted EQs. dumbest thing ever. I mean, the only thing dumber than that would be if you owned a Chevy Berlinetta, because I think that was the dumbest radio on the planet at the time. And if you don't know what that is, then good, neither one of you had to suffer through that.
Was that the one that had the like screen, the like old school, like first gen nav screen?
No, the Berlinetta was built off of a Camaro, okay, and it picture like if you had a boombox and you just stuck it in your dash on a gooseneck.
Oh, jeez.
And so it had a cassette that opened up like this, and it had a tuner, but the speakers were detached, so just like the center of a boombox, mounted on a swivel in your dash. It was like,
oh wow,
yeah. And they would come in and be like, "Can I put in a radio on this?" And be like, "Go buy a Camaro dash. Like, why would you buy this car? It's ridiculous." Oh yeah, quarter dins. There you go. I still have mine. I have it in a box over here. So you had half DIN EQs, and then they had a half DIN. So it was a Kenwood that was so thin EQ, but it was just a quarter of it. So it was like a 7-band micro EQ, so you could put it like small. But just
Roger, Roger, there's nothing wrong with not liking lighting. Thank you.
You should always like lighting. Lighting is the best. Lighting makes your car go faster. Okay, so this last segment is brought to you by the fine folks at Mosconi-America.com. If you're looking for the smallest, most powerful amplifier that draws the least amount of current and is SB compliant, well, look no further than the Picos. They have a full Pico line of DSP amplifiers along with a 1,000-watt monoblock to match in physical form, shape, and size. You get an 8 to 10, a 4 to 10, a 6 to 8, as well as a 1,000-watt mono. They're all small DSP. They have full functioning DSPs in them, but they are small and they're very friendly to put in, battery-operated cars that we have now. You can tuck them almost anywhere. Check them out at Mosconi-America.com. All right, so we've gotten to the point in this show. Thank you guys for coming on and doing this. Brinkley, you've decided that you want to take your toe and put it into the pool of what we like to call social networking and get out there and be like, hey, I'm here for you. We've talked about this in the past. And so tell us a little bit about what you got going on.
Yeah, so I have been as a rep trying to do what I can to help promote everything that I work with for a long time. And I've always paid attention to different social media channels. I see their value. I see the community that's there. And so one that I've been trying to play with a lot recently is TikTok. So I've been trying to find the community on TikTok. There's a lot of people in car audio there right now. But funny enough, a lot of the people that I see there now speak Spanish. Obviously, I'm fluent in Spanish. It's fine. I can talk to them. But I don't see a lot of people talking and growing community speaking English. So I was going to try to start going live on a regular basis and try to drum up the community, be helpful, answer questions, whether it's about the stuff I rep or not. It doesn't matter to me. It's all the same. And I'm just having fun with it. Just started yesterday going lives and trying to plan out doing some more kind of like with what you guys do, but it'll be fun. And it's so far it's been great. It's just getting started and figuring out a schedule and all that stuff when at a time because it's not my day job. So figuring out how to do it when it's not my normal 9 to 5.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So where can they find you on TikTok?
So all of my social medias are Car Audio Chris, as much as Dean hates that. I tried to change it. I tried to make it Phantom Chris, but I had to go back to Car Audio Chris. So, but yeah, any of my social medias, you can find me at Car Audio Chris. So, and any questions you have, especially with anything from obviously Stinger or anything, feel free to ask. I'm happy to help with it.
Well, there you go. Mr. Viera.
Yes, sir.
With you and your stack of empty spools of 3D filament just waiting to go into the many AMOS printer top heads that you have, that you're printing things for cool arts and crafts festivals and whatever. You have a little side hustle that you do where you make some stuff. Let's talk about that for a minute. What is it, and where can they find it?
So you on my Facebook page is linked to there. I have to post it out more. Like, you can see my post on the Clean Wire Club, and I usually link it on there somewhere if somebody asks for it. But I make 3D printed wire hold downs for amplifier racks to make a clean wire amp rack. I make like turn downs to put wires through an amp board. I do a couple of things of 3D printing for car audio stuff.
What do you do for non-cardio stuff?
I wish I had something to show you, but I do like Hue Forge portraits. I do ducks for Jeeps. So people that like doing the whole Jeep duck community thing, I do some of those, and just other random knickknacks and stuff that I do at my wife's craft fair.
So basically, if somebody needed some custom 3D printed stuff, you're the guy to talk to, because you actually have several printers that aren't just doing predetermined crap. You actually can take small stuff and get it done.
Yep, there they are.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, if anyone's interested in getting some 3D stuff done, reach out to Mr. Chris Viera. They're on the socials. Facebook is still the easiest place to get a hold of you.
Yeah, I just go by Chris Viera on everything on Instagram, Facebook. So
it just goes by Chris Viera.
Yep.
I was looking at some of your stuff, man. It looks really good. You make some really cool things.
Thank you.
Well, there you go.
I just installed a Stinger amp today, by the way.
Oh, nice.
I really push those Stinger amps. I like them.
Well, we have your kiss of approval. Fantastic. Sorry, it's audio control or nothing, man. It's just, that's what it is. Speaking of that, I'd like to thank you guys for, taking the time out on your Saturday, coming in and putting up with me and answering some great questions. I'd like to thank all you guys in the chat there. I know this wasn't your regular Saturday and we didn't answer a bunch of your questions. Sorry. Don't worry. Monday, Fernando will be back here very tired, and he'll sit here and scroll through and tag questions, so we'll be able to answer all those that we didn't get to today. But, hey, this is a little change up. Brinkley, it was great having you on. Feel free to, anytime you'd like to come on, I'd love to get you on, maybe help with some of those questions. Of course, Viera, it's always a pleasure to have you on. You bring a unique perspective to this, and you put up with my crap, so that's really why you're here.
What are friends for?
I know, and it's fantastic. Yes, if you'd like to, I'll just pull this up. If you'd like to pick up your IRTA2 or a key tag, where do you find it? DNF Tool Drawer is a place you can find all the cool tools that we use, along with the IRTA2, the 2-channel electrical RTA that, basically makes life easier. And enjoy the trip down memory lane. As always, Brad's a blast. I love Brad. He's so much fun.
Yeah, Brad's dope.
Yeah, I love getting him on the show because he talks about stuff that, but he's really good at dumbing it down so the rest of us know what he's talking about, which is really cool for an engineer.
I love the nerd talk.
Yeah, but I like understanding the nerd talk. So
I'll pick it up and then I'll research it later what he meant.
No, I'm going to ask him a million questions and he's going to have to sit there and explain it to me But I did. It's funny because I did come up with I think I know what class I want to teach next year at MasterTech, and it's going to involve some help from Brad because there's a couple things I want to do after this year's MasterTech. There was a couple questions that came from our class and a couple others that I wasn't expecting, and in hindsight, I'm like, okay, I think I know where I need to go with this. So I have to now start prepping for a class because it's going to take me that long to put it together. But it should be fun, and we'll talk about it more as time gets closer. I'd like to thank all the show sponsors, of course, as always, Audio Control, Arc Audio, Focal, Mosconi Gladen. Without them, I wouldn't be here doing this, and without you asking us questions and watching, well, we wouldn't be here doing this either. So thank you guys all so much for coming on and enjoying your Saturday with us. One more time, Chris Brinkley, where can they find you?
Yeah, so any of the different social medias at Cardio Chris, you can find me there. Feel free to hit me up and bug me. And I just got to say, I really appreciate you letting me do this. This is a lot of fun. It's I'd love to do more of these. It's a great time.
We'll get you on more. And of course, Viera, you can find everything Chris Viera at Chris Viera all over the internet.
All over
Just
the
look for
internet.
his cherub-like face, and he'll be smiling.
And the sleek gray hair.
Yes, the greasy gray hair. Amy's in the other room. Just take it off your ear. Put it in hair gel. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you later next time.